My name is Thom Fairclough, and I'm a little bit nervous doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I have started this channel because I am in the middle of writing a book. There's 2 working titles at the moment, but I thought doing a channel like this might help me process the information in the book a little bit more, maybe engage with people about it. So I will probably spend some time sharing excerpts and ideas about it. So I think I've said I'm called Thom Fairclough. Yeah, I am sat here in my home knitted sweater. It's a bit embarrassing really, because this is the first sweater I ever made, and it's just huge. But the wool costs so much money. Alpaca wool. It costs so much money that I daren't throw it away. Believe it or not, I actually stopped the sweater the third the way through, thinking it might be a bit too big. Then started again, and look at the size of it. But that said, it is, as they would say here in Norway, koselig, very koselig, which essentially means kind of cosy, a bit more than cosy. It doesn't translate quite so exact as that. So cosy it is, and it's really nice for cooler days, which it is here today, a grey overcast day after a period of sunshine. So it's not a winter sweater by any means, because it's a bit too soft with this haze around it, but it is nice for a cool day or a warm summer evening. So I will be knitting along this journey as well. I do like to knit, and I will welcome feedback from people, because I'm by no means an expert. I knitted as a child. My mum taught me to knit. She had 6 children and taught us all to knit, 3 boys, 3 girls. And apart from knitting for babies in the family over the years, I've not really done any knitting until I came to Norway, and then I picked it back up again, and now I'm knitting all the time. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos of knitters, fishers, fisher people, men and women, usually men. I'm a fisherman too. And I watch these videos, and they're kind of, they call it ASMR now. It's more about the noises and the sounds and the images, and you know, on the face of it, on paper, you would think there's nothing really going on. Yeah, I find myself watching many hours of it over time. So I could do that too. You can maybe come fishing with me, and I can either silently fish or I can waffle on, talk about my book maybe, or other things. You can come with me while I knit. I may even play a little bit of piano, although I don't play piano much here now in Norway. So what do I want to say? Yeah, I'm writing this book, and the basis of this book started about manners. I feel like Eric Morecambe doing this from my glasses. Started about manners and politeness. You know, I was brought up to be very polite. So those kind of structures held me together in some ways. And it was only coming here to Norway that has really shaken those foundations in a way. I mean, I am a psychotherapist, so I have discussed manners and politeness with, you know, colleagues, clients, you know, addressed my own issues regarding them over the years. But never have they really been put to such a test. I'm not saying that Norwegians aren't polite, because of course they are, but the way they are polite, their manners are very different to my English manners. And although I've been coming here for many years, I've been with a Norwegian for 18 years now. I've mainly just been holidaying here and parties and things like that. But to live here has really, you know, one would imagine cultural differences between the UK and Norway wouldn't be apart from the language, wouldn't be that different. Whereas I was in for a bit of a rude awakening because they are very, very different. So that's part of my book, and that's where it started from. One of the working titles at the moment is Manners Maketh Man, which lots of people from England will recognise that. And it's, of course, much more than manners. It's about a way of being in the world and integrity. So the working title is Manners Maketh Man, an autoethnography of politeness, manners, and otherness in migration. It's a mouthful, as autoethnography titles often are. The problem is as the book's developed, it's become wider than manners and politeness. They're related to some of the things that go on for me. For instance, I don't like this word much, by triggering or re-triggering, but lots of things that I worked on over the years, childhood traumas and issues that I'd had throughout my younger life, the structural things that hold me together, I felt they were kind of done and dusted. By no means perfect, but I'd worked on a lot of the things that had caused me a lot of problems in my earlier life, and I thought they were kind of put to bed. Whereas emigrating I'm 57 now, I was 56 when I emigrated. Emigrating at this time of my life has really, going back to those words I don't like, re-triggered some of those earlier traumas that have been interesting to experience. So it's re-triggered trauma, loss, grief, my sexuality. I'm gay. I am a father to an adult child. I am also a grandfather. The last two subjects I won't talk about much here in a public forum, but there'll be some mention of that in my book. And also I want to be really careful and caring about the ethics of divulging information that is sensitive to others. Yet is also part of my story, which is important in finding a foundation for this book. So I wanted this video really not to be a waffle on video. I just wanted it to be an introduction into what I might do with this channel. I'm not entirely sure. I want it just to emerge. I'm a Gestalt Psychotherapist, so we're all about emergencies. Not emergencies, emergencies. And, some days you'll find me here in a cosy sweater. You might find me on a warm day in a t-shirt. You might find me out fishing. You might find me knitting. You might find me playing the piano. You might find me doing anything, housework. I've no idea yet. I'm just going to play it by ear. But, I do watch quite a few YouTube channels, and on the face of it, on paper, you would think, why on earth would anybody watch that? But people do. I do, and I enjoy it. So, I would like this to be a bit of a journey. I want it to help me write my book. I don't get stuck a lot. I'm quite motivated and committed. But, I do have days where I think, I could do with talking this through. So, some YouTube channels, they're very monological, is that a word? They're like monologues. And some are far more dialogical, and I feel like I'm being spoken with rather than at. I'd like that to be the case here. I will welcome comments, supportive and challenging. And I just would like to see how this channel emerges in a very human and authentic way. As corny as that sounds, but I think that's why I'm here. So my as I was just saying before, the book has kind of changed, and I always envisaged that I might change the title. So I made a working title of The Manners Maketh Man. But I have another working one, and that's the title of this channel, Conscious Crossings. Sound like Sean Connery. Conscious Crossings, a second wind wanderer. So I suppose I am in the second wind of my life, and I'm being a bit of a wanderer. Must have some wanderlust. And the subtitle is an autoethnography of migration, otherness, sexuality, aging, identity, transitions and loss. So hopefully, although it's quite a niche subject, it does incorporate enough for it to resonate with quite a lot of people. I have a really close 4 people who I share my work with, my written work, and in lots of ways they don't relate to the actual events or the facts, but they do relate and resonate with a lot of the experiences and the feelings that accompany those events. And I hope that with emigration and difference, being a foreigner, senses of otherness. I grew up gay in the 80s. It wasn't an easy time, with a backdrop of AIDS and Clause 28, I think was around then too. And I became a parent in the late 80s, which was like shock horror. So issues of sexuality, gender, masculinity, what does it mean? Loss, grief, trauma, identity, how I've formed my identity over the years, how that's been I want to do that. It's kind of been altered by migration, and how my identity is kind of, on a really fundamental level, changed in some ways, and in some ways also got stronger. And anybody encountering transitions, really, be them kind of geographical boundaries, or maybe identity boundaries, or physical boundaries, transitions, transitions into age, for instance. I'm getting older now, and I would like to explore that a little bit more. And with that, I suppose, issues of loss. I watched a webinar the other day. What's her name? Heidi Schleifer, I think. Ella Schleifer. I do apologise, Heidi, if you are watching. And she said that her parents taught her the 2 most important things in life are 1, hello, and 2, goodbye. And I realised with that how important hellos and goodbyes are to me. And I think probably to you too. So this is my hello, and I hope it's a gentle introduction to me and the vagueness of what I might bring, with a little bit of scaffolding around it. And I do hope that you will join me on this journey, which will hopefully result in my book being completed. So thank you for listening so far, and if you'd like to, oh gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this like all those other people, if you'd like to like and subscribe, that would be wonderful. So I do hope to get to know you a little bit as much as you get to know me. Thank you for watching.